Well, good morning, everyone, on this fabulous Tuesday morning or evening, depending where you are in the world. Today is an extraordinary day for so many reasons. Number one, today we are lighting the torch with Cheri Dixon. And today's also her birthday. So it's a great day to celebrate. Cheri has recently released, as of today, an ebook. She said yes, and it made all the difference. This book is published all across Amazon, and it will be available in paperback as well. But I've been watching Cheri's journey for quite some time, and wow, do you have a story? She said yes, and it made all the difference. So tell me what you mean by that. Why the title?
Well, Hannah, you're right. We all deal with lots of things in life, right? Lots of hurdles, things that come at you when you're least expecting it. And when I got this opportunity to write my own solo book, it wasn't in my plan. It really wasn't. And I had been talking to a few of the ladies at She Rises, and it was like, okay, sometimes things come to you for a reason. And although I don't think that we should say yes to everything, I do believe that we have to say yes, even when we're a little bit afraid, when that voice in your head is saying, you can't do this. Really, this can't be your life, because of the opportunities that will then fall into place because of your decision to say yes. And when I sat and brainstormed all the different things that I could write about, it resonated with me so much, this one, because it is exactly how I've lived my life. When I was a kid, I had these big dreams, these big goals. Like, I thought, and I hate to say this because I am from Houston now, but I thought I was going to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. I was going to be like this fabulously famous person who wore these fabulous clothes every day, that I was going to drive these fabulous cars, and I was going to make all these big decisions about education that was going to actually change the lives of every child in the world. Like, that was my wheelhouse as a kid. And then, of course, you grow up and you become a little more aligned with reality, and you think, okay, well, maybe not, maybe not, maybe not. But when I sat back and thought about it, because I said yes, all of those things started to fall into place. I've never been a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, nor have I ever been a cheerleader, but the things that mattered started to fall into place. And one thing led to the next, which led to the next. And had I not said yes all those years ago, they would have never happened. So I just felt like that was the best way to break out as a solo writer, in the world, is to just share that story, because there will be many more coming. But this one is kind of like my baby.
Well, congratulations, because you have a podcast called Strong Inside and Out. And you also have a show called Confident, Courageous, and Clear. You also, in the midst of writing books, becoming a best-selling author, opening your own business, you also have a documentary that is out there called Somewhere on the Spectrum. And so but before that even happened, you shared a pivotal moment over the last year that I've heard you share, in terms of where did you leave? What did you leave to step into where you are today?
Well, yeah, you are absolutely right. I knew when I was 6 years old, and I read about this in the book, of course, but I wanted to be a teacher, because teachers guided me through so many things in life, personally and professionally. And I wouldn't be here where I am today without them. And I wanted to be that person for children, and I wanted to do it to the best of my ability. But I always thought I'd just be in the classroom as a teacher. And it just so happened that one thing leads to the next. I say yes, I say yes, I say yes. And I ended up becoming a principal. And I was a principal for 16 years. And I would go into neighborhoods that definitely did not look like me, but the schools were really struggling. They were failing. And they were this close to being taken over by the states. And I would be hired to go in with my team or to develop a team and fix them quickly. And I loved that work. I really did. I loved building the relationships with my staff and with my students and with my communities. And I have to say, even now today, after stepping away a year ago, almost to the date, I still have teachers reaching out. They ask for advice, or they ask, what should be my next career move? Or, can I just talk to you about this? And I think that speaks volumes for the work that I did with them. And when I go out into the community, I don't live within the communities that I ever worked in, but I still see the families out there, and they still run up to me and they hug me and they tell me how much they miss me. And that just, as I said, that tells me that I did what I set out to do on the path of education. And that was to leave a legacy and to have an impact and to make people's lives better because of the work I did. Now, I had a hard decision to make once again, and it is the final section of the book, and that was to leave that job. And it wasn't because I didn't love it, but I knew that it was time for a pivot. And when you have that gut feeling, you have to listen to it. It's like burning inside you. I listened to it. And let me just tell you, you said it earlier, you've seen my journey. This has been a scary year for me. I'm very authentic. I will tell you how it is. I don't want to sugarcoat something for somebody and make them believe something is all rainbows and unicorns. There are rainbows and there are unicorns along the way, but there are also pivots and valleys and swamps and, maybe the occasional blackbird coming down the street or whatever you want to say. But it's been a journey that has taught me so much about myself and about life in general as well. And when you're in your 50s, you think, okay, I know everything, right? Not really, but you kind of get to that place where you feel like I've experienced so much. There's probably not anything more for me to experience that is new, but that's not true. You can experience things new every single day. But remembering all of your great skills, remembering all of your great experiences when you do hit those hurdles, and not giving up on you, because especially as women, we deserve to have whatever life we want, no matter what society says, no matter what our friends say, no matter what the magazines say. We get to decide. I think as all people should have that opportunity, because that's living life.
I think that is so beautifully said. And I just know you, and everything that you have shared in your book and everything that you've shared in the podcast and your show and the documentary, you lead with heart. And I think that is such an extraordinary quality. And can I just share how many trips you've made around the sun?
You can.
Because I've met you in person. I've gotten to see you in person, and there's no difference in the sense of how you are in person versus how you are here is genuine. It is very authentic. And she made 53 trips around the sun as of today and doesn't look a day over 21, I'm saying. So I think working with kids and following your passion, following your heart really kept you young and on your toes. I mean, kids do the most amazing things. There's a part where you talk about your childhood does not define you. I was wondering if you could share a little bit about that.
Absolutely.
But don't tell it all, because we definitely want people to get the book.
Yes, I definitely need you to go read this chapter because it is so profound. And some of the things in the chapter, this is the first time I've put them out publicly. Now, some of my very close circle of people know some of these stories, but, I was born to two teenage parents, and they were not married at the time. And we lived in a small town where the expectation, I think back in the 70s, was that you do get married and you raise a family. It wasn't necessarily that women went off to college or went off into these big roles. And for men, it just depended upon what family you were born into
Mhm.
back in the day. And my dad's side of the family, they were well known in the town for sure. And my dad got caught up into some things and ended up going into the military, and one thing led to another. And back then, you know, it is what it is. There
Mm.
was a lot of drugs and alcohol involved in a lot of different things. But I also believe, and I write about this a little bit in the book as well, it was it was expected when you get pregnant that you're going to get married and just stay in that family. And my parents probably should not have done that. And my mom suffered from a lot of mental health issues as well. So here we were, young, we have a child, we have to be together, and we have to make this work while we're still both dealing with some demons. My dad is a recovered alcoholic at this point, and he's amazing. He's great. And my mom passed away a while back, and she struggled even up to her days of passing. And when you are born into that, you learn how to survive. And that's exactly what I write about in the story. But I also say, your childhood doesn't have to determine your future. It makes you who you are. It taught me survival. It taught me how to have that heart, to care about people. I took care of my brother and sister for a long time as a child, making sure they got up in the morning and went to school and all of the things, kind of organized that part of our lives, which made me a great planner and a great organizer and good at so all of those things contributed to who I am today. And I could have let that just determine my future. Okay, I come from this, and this is just the way life has to be. Or you can say, no, it doesn't define my path. And I talk about that specifically in the book. And I think that that's something many people get caught up in, is we want to find a reason for life to be hard. And it's real easy to blame our parents. It's real easy to blame our childhood. And I never want to do that. I don't. I want a solid adult relationship with my dad now that's loving and caring, and that we are able to communicate with each other in a way where we can problem solve things, and just talk things out. And you can't do that if you keep harboring these feelings of blame and um, reasons to just not move forward. But that's the first chapter of the book. And I think that was the most significant one, because you have to learn how to get past those things. And if you can't do them on your own, get yourself some help to be able to do that, because so many people with so much potential sell themselves short over their years because they just keep holding on to those feelings, those experiences. And yeah, they're bad. They're bad sometimes, but it doesn't mean that you have to keep repeating those.
I think that it shows real, true forgiveness, and you said it yourself. You have an amazing, healthy relationship with your dad now. And it also kind of tells me like you have an understanding, and I can relate to this. Life is short,
Mhm.
and, our circumstances and past don't define us unless we allow them to. And I think that's why that chapter is such a profound chapter in your book, because you're really coming from this place of growth and forgiveness, but you're also showing that it can be done. And a lot of people do get stuck in their past, or they let things kind of define, well, I was raised this way, so this is why I do this, or I
Mhm.
have this habit because it was this, it was passed down from this person. But the reality is, and you're living proof of that, that things can be changed if you want them to. It doesn't have to define you. So you also speak about, and this is something that you even say on a daily, being that strong female role model.
Mhm.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
So it kind of all ties with that first chapter of the book as well, because I also talk about I never planned on becoming a mother. I really didn't. And when you read the chapter, you'll kind of understand why. And all of a sudden, there she was. I became a mom. And I had options. I'll be honest. I did have options, and I had a strong future path. I did well in school, and school was easy for me. And I had scholarships to different colleges and universities. But when I saw my child for the first time, my daughter, and she looked at me, and I write about that in Unleash Her as well, I knew that that was my path, to be her mom and to be the best mom I could be. Not perfect. There's no one that's perfect, and I've made mistakes. But everything I've always done in my life is to show her that as a woman, we're capable, that even when hard things happen, when you have faith and a burning desire to make something successful, that you can do so. And when I stepped into that role as a leader years later, I realized that so many people were looking at me for answers and for direction and guidance. And it's an awesome responsibility. It's one that you just go, whoa, can I handle this? I mean, like, honestly, you wonder that. Because what you don't ever want to do is get to a place where you're belittling others, or you're discouraging others, or you're not treating people the way you want to be treated. And that's, I mean, I know that sounds cliche as the golden rule, but that's my golden rule. I'm not going to talk to you in a way that I wouldn't want you to talk with me. I'm not going to lead you in a way that I wouldn't want you to lead me. And I think that, when you put it all together, is what is the epitome of a good role model. And we need women out there leading other women and encouraging others and collaborating, not competing and not judging. We have so much of that in the world that you almost get to a place, I don't know about you, but I have to turn the TV off sometimes, even watching, like positive news segments, because there's always some kind of dig, in every single story. And if you just stay on that, you can get caught up in that. But instead, if you focus on doing good in the world, you will have a huge impact. And that impact will come back to you when you least expect it.
I believe that wholeheartedly. I think that being a strong female role model comes with a lot of responsibility, but I think that you have done such a tremendous job on showing what that really looks like. You talk about moving forward even when you're afraid, and that one sticks out to me a lot too, because I feel like that voice that you were sharing earlier, you just know that this is something that you have to do, but you're also afraid of whatever the fear is. It could be judgment, not enough knowledge, whatever it is that we create in terms of fear. How do you still move forward?
That is a great question. I love that question, because I'm sitting here thinking, oh gosh, she's going to ask that question. But here's the thing. I know you have younger children in your home, and so you've probably seen that movie Inside Out, or all those different Disney movies, or all the whatever brand movies they are now. I hear about them from children in the last, years. But when you think about those characters, when your desire and your faith and that burning feeling that you got to go do something, it's like one of those cute little characters that, you just want to go, oh my gosh, let me just hold you. Let me get you, as a little stuffed animal or something. But when you're hearing fear, it's like that spiked up, growly, scary, and so much louder than the cheerleader, right? Fear is loud. It is loud, and it's not going to stop. It's persistent. But I think the thing that you have to remember, and this is what I always try to tell myself, because there are days, and I think I've cried more this year than I have in my entire life. I'm not a crier, but I get nervous, I get scared, I get overwhelmed. And it's okay to have those feelings. That's number one. You have to remember that it is
Mhm.
okay. These are normal feelings. You are human and you are not perfect. But I think the next thing is you have to be able to say, but I'm not going to live with that feeling. I'm not going to embrace that feeling and stay stuck. I was stuck. I went through a challenging divorce, and I write about that in the book as well. And I stayed stuck in that. And I just told that story over and over and over. And people were real tired of it unless it was good drama, right? They like drama. And you can do that with your fear too. You can
Mhm.
stay stuck in that record of it's just
Mhm.
playing over and over and over. But you have to say, okay, I'm going to feel the feeling. But now remind yourself of why you did this because you made the choice to do this. Remind yourself of all the great things you've accomplished in life and remind yourself. And I like the phrase, you've come too far to just come this far. You
Mhm.
can't give up. You can pivot, but you can't just give up. You have too many people relying on you. And that's what keeps me going when I am afraid. And that feeling of afraid, it starts in your belly and it comes up into your heart. And then it's like you're sweaty. And then you're like, wow, are people seeing me sweat? I don't need to have all this go on. But your mind is powerful. And if
Mhm.
you want to let that fear take over, it will. But if you want to conquer it, you can. You just have to get uncomfortable with uncomfortable.
You share a lot about cheerleader, and you say that you never became one, but the reality is you did. Because I've watched you cheer on so many other women. I've watched you elevate women, and maybe they don't even realize it, but that's what you have done. And you've also been your own cheerleader, which I don't know if you really see the distance that you've gone, and a lot of the things that you described of what you thought you'd be, you actually are. You're this beautiful woman who wears the most adorable clothing. I see you all the time on screen. I've seen you in person. I see you as this cheerleader. I see you as this strong, courageous woman who's confident and clear. And so today, as we celebrate number one, your birthday, because every birthday to me is a blessing. Every day you get to wake up, it's just a blessing. And I think that you've really shown this in this journey that you have gone through, about the resilience, the perseverance. But today is also the day that you light the torch for She Said Yes, and it made all the difference. And so today, for those of you who are watching live and those of you who are going to watch the replay, this is a book that you will laugh, you will cry, you will align with, you will feel the feels. And that's exactly what it's made to do. And exactly who you see here today is exactly who she is. There's no pretending here. And that's what I think has always been a gravitational force for me to watch you and just really see the growth. And you've inspired me and so many other people, men and women. And I know that what you have done has been so extraordinary because your daughter shows that same leadership and love and passion and perseverance when she told you, Mom, get on that plane and go. Even when Mom was like, nope, and Mom did. And, that's for another day and another time. But what you have done and what you are showing has also come in true fruition for your daughter as well. So, congratulations to you. The book is available all across Amazon. It is actually circulating into all the fine major retailers. This book will be available in paperback. And I just really feel that everyone needs to get their hands on this. She Said Yes, and it made all the difference by Cheri Dixon. And congratulations to you. Happy birthday to you. How can people connect with you to follow your journey and what's next for you?
Well, Hannah, before I answer that, can I just say this? You'll hear me talk a lot in the book and in life about role models as well and mentors and observe and take everything in. And I was on a path where it wasn't always possible for me to just shell out a lot of money to go get a coach or a consultant or a mentor or anything. So I found them in what I could. And I have to say, I could not have done this leg of the journey without She Rises Studios and without you. You and I, we've connected and had some time to talk together, and um, it means a lot when you can find the people that see something in you and support you. And I want to say thank you for that, because you guys have made a huge difference for me, just like so many other women on this path, so many men, so many people that have been in my circle. And I couldn't have done any of this without every single person that's been on my journey, good or bad. But you guys are a positive one for sure.
Well, thank you. Thank
Of
you. That
course.
means a lot.
Of course. So, no, what's next for me? So, I'm just going to love the fact that this book is out in the world and continue to try to get it into as many hands as possible. Within my business, I'm going into year number 2, so I can't call myself a baby anymore. And we always had this theme in the education world. You get to act real naive in the first year and ask a whole lot of questions, but in the second year, you better get your act together and get yourself moving forward. And I'm on that path as well. So leadership is a big passion of mine, and especially building female leaders so that they can step in the right rooms and secure those big positions. As far as writing, I'm already planning the next book. Um, this one is all about saying yes, and I want my next one to be about putting healthy boundaries in place.
Woo.
That's important. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. But I'm also shooting for a TED Talk sometime soon in the next year or so. So that's going to be a big next step for me as well. But you'll hear all about it, and everybody can find out everything I'm doing, because I love to be out there in the world and sharing these milestones, because it helps people to understand if I can do them from my background and from, all the hurdles I've had, you can too.
I love it. I know you're going to do TED Talks and so many more things. And can I just put like a little bug in your ear? So this book and the one that you just talked about, maybe a journal could be a part of it.
Oh, I think that's probably a really great idea, because I do, for those of you out there who've not gotten the book yet, I do have a set of reflection questions at the end of every chapter that helps guide you. And that's really what I wanted it to be. There were a couple of things. One, I wanted it to be an easy read, get some entertainment, but also pull on your heartstrings a little bit. I wanted it to be something that could be relatable and real and authentic. And I wanted it to be something that could help you on your journey. And I like the fact of a journal to maybe go along with it as well. So, yeah, you
I
never
think if
know.
there's any book it should be this one, just for the fact of the promptings and the way you leave people thinking and wanting to, act upon. Um, I just think I think anyone who reads this book is going to be, I think it's a game changer for people if they allow it to be. So
Thank you.
congratulations to you. And I think we're going to see Miss Cheri Dixon in a lot of different arenas. The growth and all the things that you've done in just a short time. It's just really an amazing thing to see and be a part of. So anyone who's watching, anyone who watches the replay, connect with Cheri. Um, Grab this book. And like you mentioned, you do have other books out there. Unleash Her. How many times have you become a bestseller, an international bestseller now in the last 2 years?
So, 2 times out of the 4 books, I'm planning for this one to be even bigger. Maybe New York Times bestseller. I don't know. I mean, it's in my mind. But yes, my last book is amazing as well, and it's pretty fresh still. But teachers, go out and get that, because those stories are huge. What you would learn in there, and that one went bestseller in 14 categories on Amazon. So yeah, that was exciting. Unleash Her. And then I do have a couple leadership chapters out in books. One with She Rises, the female leaders behind the scenes, and then one with an upcoming book that's coming out later this year with a business partner that I have. But yeah, I love writing, and I love the fact that you can put your voice into your writing, which makes it authentic and real. I just love that.
Yes. I've always been, I always make the joke because you and I are in a class together on Wednesdays. And I've always said, I don't want her to check my grammar because because you are an extraordinary writer. You happen to be really good whiz at grammar and all those different things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, every time I want to go click to email or do a response, I'm like double, triple checking because it's going to Cheri.
Can I say this? That's really funny you say that, because I'm going to tell you, coming from my small town into Houston, I had to find role models to learn how to speak and write as well, like that. Like, I've always been a good writer, but speaking, I was country. I was very country, and I wasn't proper because we just didn't speak like that.
Mhm.
And I love that you said that, because I worked hard on that. So that is such a compliment.
Yes, and you hold me to a higher standard, whether you know it or not. But it's a thing, it's kind of been this joke. And I'm like, I always think of you. I'm like, nope, this has to be better, because if she was grading my paper right now.
I hope my students always felt like that too.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure. Well, congratulations to you. Happy birthday to you. She said yes, and it made all the difference. Available all across Amazon. Get that book, support Cheri, and let's make more of your dreams a reality and come true.
Thank you so much, Hannah, and thank you everyone who's already ordered and who's in the process. And leave a review too, and let me know, because I only want to continue to get better.
Yes, and congratulations to all of the readers who are going to get this book. You are in for a real masterpiece here. All right, Miss Cheri, go out and celebrate big for your birthday. And thank you for spending the morning with me, lighting the torch.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.